It's time for a chocolate and coffee break. So grab your cuppa and let's listen together to stories from people of all walks of life that will touch your heart and reveal that opposites are the same. I'm your host, Andrea Putting, and this is Chocolate and Coffee Breaks, where we bring people together in the spirit of love and acceptance. Today on Chocolate and Coffee Breaks, I have a guest with me, Anup Bantra. And Anup is a business growth specialist helping businesses to innovate and pivot. However, today we're here to talk about some other issues, but I'm sure some of that will come up because usually it does in some way. So, Anup, welcome to Chocolate and Coffee Breaks.
Thanks, Andrea.
Well, let's start off. Do you have some chocolate? Do you have chocolate?
Oh yes, I just love dark chocolate. Like in our company, we all of us we're a small team of 10 people, and all of us are very fond of chocolate, and it's just like our way of giving our warmth and love to each other. So one person will bring a whole lot of chocolates, and we just keep them near the reception, and people just keep having them.
Yeah, and that's what I always talk about with chocolate and coffee is the idea is that chocolate does do that. It breaks down the kind of that barrier of it just says to somebody that I accept you for who you are. I want to give you something that's a special and that's of value to me. So
Yeah,
I like
that's
it
a
that
very good thought, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, like the accepting people for who they are. I think that creates a very positive environment, whether it's at home or at the workplace.
Yes, and I've been in your workplace, so I know that that's what it's like. My chocolate today is from the Kakadu Plum Company, and it's a special Christmas one, even though it's not Christmas yet, but I couldn't resist it. It's native jingles, desert lime and ginger. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Beautiful.
So I'm looking forward to getting into that one.
Yeah, I think I've seen this brand somewhere. It's this is very good chocolate. Yeah.
Yes, it is very nice, and they have Aboriginal. They help the Aboriginal community with choosing the native foods to put in it. So
Wow.
it's always fun to try some of those native foods. So let's get started on some other questions. I have my chocolate and coffee breaks set of conversation starters. And the one that I've pulled out, which seems very appropriate because we're just coming out of lockdown in Melbourne from COVID. So if you could travel to any place in the world, where would it be?
So I have traveled a lot, actually. Like I love traveling, and usually every second year I'll take 3 months off work completely and go to some place. And one of the places I really enjoyed going to was Amsterdam, and I was living on a houseboat over there, and it used to be a very good experience on the river with the river breeze coming into the houseboat, and um, all types of birds coming in the and stuff like that, and walking down uh, over there in Amsterdam with the cyclists, and people are like so friendly and creative. So that's one place where I definitely want to go again and maybe spend a month.
Yeah, I really enjoyed going to Amsterdam myself and having those experiences. And it's amazing how many bikes there are there. I knew there was a lot of bikes there, but when you see what here would be a whole car park, there's a whole bike park full of bikes,
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of bikes. It was just amazing.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And they use the bikes to like get rid of the congestion caused by cars and the pollution caused by cars. So That's very good.
Yes, it's very nice. So our reason for being here today is that I wanted to talk to you about what it is to be a Sikh in Australia, because I'm sure you get a lot of interest because you do wear your turban, and that would make you stand out in the crowd. So I'd love for you to share with me the story of the experience of coming to Australia as a Sikh and what that's been like.
It's been actually a very interesting experience, because one of the things I feel that, like, wearing the turban, like some people, they sort of associate with Sikh people. They probably had a Sikh in the class in school, or they had some encounter. They went to India, and they went to the Sikh temple. So they already know about it, and they come and talk to me in a very affectionate way. But at the same time, there are people who don't appreciate it. Like, for them, it's like they think that this is something which is not ordinary, so not normal,
Yeah.
and they will not associate with someone who is like that. So maybe, uh, instead of, like, some other people who are inquisitive, for example, they come and ask me, what does it mean? And they're still very warm and friendly. But then there's some people, like, I was going through a training program, and uh, there the person who was in charge of the training school, like, used to think that I should not wear a turban, and he used to convince me all the time that I should not wear a turban, that I should, like, cut my hair and be like everybody else. And I found it very difficult to navigate that pathway of, like, going back to this person and saying, no, I have taken a decision. I am happy as a Sikh. I like, and so, although eventually, like, he did back off, and and he stopped, like, asking me to cut my hair. But I feel like, in every society and every culture, there are people uh, who are more open to different types of people and different cultures, and embracing diversity is something that is so core to them. And then there will always be some people who are very conservative, and who don't like the idea of looking at anything outside of what they know.
Yeah. And there really is that real difference, isn't there? Because to me, I see that, well, I always think of it as the silent majority. The silent majority of people are accepting to a certain degree. But then there are those who just can't see past anything that's the same as them, which is why I do this. It's very much about, well, in everybody there is something that we can connect with. There is something that's going to be the same. The way that we think, the way that we do something, it's going to be the same. It's like when you and I connected, we had that same connection of, we felt a very spiritual kind of connection. So while we come from very different backgrounds, we connect on that level. And I think there's people, if we have this chocolate and coffee experience, that we start to understand that people are the same. So it's
Yeah, deep down inside, like when I went traveling, I always found a lot of people who wanted to be friends with me, and uh, for some, it was like I was very fascinating, because I was a Sikh. Some didn't care at all about, like, the fact that which religion I'm from. Like these days, you see more and more people are shifting from religion to spirituality.
Yes.
So that religious bias is disappearing, and and with that, like because I have a strong spiritual grounding, I always connect with people who also have that. And like I was in an Indian city called Rishikesh in the mountains, and there are people from almost 100 countries who come over there to learn meditation. And I used to make friends every day, and they were all from different countries and cultures, but like we all, like the common thread was that we all had a spiritual calling, and we were in a place which sort of embraced that spirituality, either through chanting or mantras or meditation, yoga, various other ways. So I've been very fortunate that way to be able to blend with people from different religions and countries across the world, uh, and uh, and that way I forget myself that I am a Sikh, because I don't follow the Sikh tradition as much. And like I'm more, I would say I've been living in Australia now for so long that I'm more Australian than I am Sikh. So uh, I naturally associate well with people here.
Yes, and that's one thing that I've said to many people. It's like we all got the same, we've all got our GPS set to go to the same location, but we all drive in different cars and we all take different routes, but we're all going to that same place.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether you're Sikh, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever religion you are, we're all heading to that same, we all have that same direction that we're going to.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's that of a human being, and
Mm,
being that a human, and like that feeling that love in our heart for all human beings,
yes,
regardless of which religion, which culture they come from. I think that's being a human. That's the letting our heart be, like be in the heart, and feel your connection to other people.
yes, and recognizing that oneness of all of us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, recognizing the song which is in our hearts, like the song which is in my heart is a song which is in our heart, and all our hearts. So listening to that song, that's the most beautiful music which is playing, and then everything else becomes irrelevant.
Yes, I agree with you there. What would be something from the Sikh religion that to you is something special that you could share with the world, that no matter what religion, what culture you're from, what's that something that you really love the most that you could share with the world?
So the one thing about the religion is that, like, there is no separation, that we are all one, and there is no enemy. So like no one to hate, there's no enemy, there's only friends. And one of the things about the Sikhs used to be soldiers, although they were religious people, but they were soldiers. They used to fight for a good cause, and in many instances, they went into battles, and there were people dying on both sides. And the Sikh soldiers used to, if there was someone injured on the enemy side, they would take water and give them water to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And like some soldiers used to be on the Sikh side, used to be curious about it, and they used to ask our leader, who was our spiritual guide also, that why are these people doing that, and that's not okay. But our leader used to say that they, like, you should be able to see God in every human being. It's not about that this one is a friend and that one's an enemy. They are all yours. They all are your one, belonging to that one. And I think that was a story from Sikhism that like left the strongest impression on me, because I think coming to Australia in a culture which has so much diversity, it's a huge opportunity for me to be able to like sort of stick to that belief like in every situation. And
Yes, to always, or you can always follow that of recognizing that the next person is, well, is a friend, is a part of you, is the same as you, then it really does give you a different perspective on life. I think it removes that materiality of being, and just keeps us focused on the things that really are important.
yes, and so our Sikh values are around. They are around basically like working hard and sharing. So like one of the things that like Sikhs are usually the most hardworking people in India. So they're known to be like brave and hardworking, but they're also known for the fact that they share and serve a lot. So whenever there is like opportunity, you will see Sikhs going there. Like the bushfires were there,
Yes,
so
I saw
so
that.
the Sikh community went and they helped out over there. And then during COVID, when the lockdowns were there and a lot of apartments were
Mm-hmm.
locked down, the Sikh temple used to cook food, and the Sikhs used to go and give food to people in those apartments who were locked down. So that one thing about us is the Sikh people. We are characterized by our need to like go and serve.
Yes, and there's a great tradition of feeding people too, isn't there? From what I understand, is you can go along to a Sikh temple and you'll be fed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is like that. There is a temple in India. It's called the Golden Temple in North India, and over there, every day it's more than 100,000 people are fed, and it's
Wow.
like from all the time. Like there's not a single time in the day when they are not being fed, and there's so many volunteers doing the whole activity, and it's just happening like clockwork. Like volunteers come, they bring
Mhm.
the food, then there's people who are cooking the food, there's people who are serving the food, there's people who are polishing the shoes of people
Wow.
who have gone inside to eat. So it's like a massive organization in serving people. So that is a big part of our religion. And then Sikhs have blended well with everywhere that they've gone. Like in Canada, there's a strong Sikh community,
Mhm.
and because they are enterprising and hardworking, and they serve the community a lot, so they get accepted in these communities. And in Canada right now, there are several ministers in the government who are Sikh. The defense minister is a Sikh. The innovation minister is a Sikh. So, like I went to Vancouver just for a holiday, and I was surprised at how many people from Canada, like they would just walk up to me and wish me, and they know the Sikh greeting. Like our greeting is like we wish like this, and we say Sat Sri Akal, which means like the timeless is true. And I had this experience in Canada, and then I went to San Francisco for a conference, And as soon as I got out of the airport, like someone walked up to me, he stopped his car actually. He walked up to me and he wished me. So it's very exciting that way, being a Sikh.
Yes, you must have almost like having a magic power. Wherever you go, people are instantly drawn to you because of your turban. That's fascinating. We're all going to want to wear a turban now. I actually saw that in Adelaide about a year ago when I was there. It was a festival in Rundle Moor, and the Sikh community were there putting turbans on people. Just for the fun of it, just to relate to people. I thought that was a beautiful thing.
So did you try it out? Did you ever wear a turban?
No, I didn't. I should have done it.
So maybe next time we meet, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
So is there something that distinguishes the different colours in turbans? I'm just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so actually, so the blue turban, the navy blue turban, was worn by the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, like now, the working class people who are in the corporate world or business, they'll wear this navy blue turban. Then there's a red turban is worn more on festive occasions and weddings and things like that. And then there is a saffron colored turban, which is worn by the Sikh saints and spiritual, like more advanced spiritual people within Sikhism.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So we can tell who they are or what they're about by the colour of their turban. At this festival, they were putting orange turbans on everybody.
Oh yes, the orange turban is the most popular for festivals.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. We're having a festival.
Yeah.
Yes. So is there anything else that you think would like to share with us around being a Sikh or around spirituality that is about helping people to connect and belong to community?
Yeah, so like my journey in spirituality, like I got very interested in spirituality since the age of 14. And then like I kept going because spirituality is such an elaborate thing that it takes a long time to like get more of a deeper understanding.
It certainly does.
When I got a deeper understanding, then the first thing I realized was that this whole thing about like identification, like we identify with our name or country or religion, like any of this sort of identification dissolves when we start getting more spiritual awareness. So
Yes.
so now I'm living that life where like yes, I do read the scripture, but like I feel like at some stage I have transcended the need to follow a system, and it's in my heart and in my consciousness.
Yes. I completely understand what you're talking about. It's about embodying. You embody the message. You no longer are following a message. You've embodied the message.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you nailed that. And I think you do that as well. So it's amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, well, you've really given us some great insights and some ideas on Sikhism, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you spending some time talking with us about it, as I know that it's the basis of what you do and how you present yourself in business and what you do with your business. I know that kind of service attitude has come through, and in your business you really focus on giving great service to the community and to your clients and to your employees. So I really appreciate that with all that you do.
Thanks. Thank you, Andrea.
So thank you so much for being here today, and that's all we have for today on Chocolate and Coffee Breaks.
Fantastic.
It's time for a chocolate and coffee break. So grab your cuppa and let's listen together to stories from people of all walks of life that will touch your heart and reveal that opposites are the same. I'm your host, Andrea Putting, and this is Chocolate and Coffee Breaks, where we bring people together in the spirit of love and acceptance.